You know, the thing about Nick is he came up like us. Like he was a blogger and a podcaster, and that's kind of how he got started. So I think he kind of always realized that there's a lot of talented people outside of just the legit media circles.
So I feel like with Dave, there was a lot of information that has happened in the last week or so that we haven't touched on, right, Dave? Your boyfriend left and is no longer a Saint.
What? We didn't talk about this?
Didn't we? Did we? I feel like it's been so long ago.
I don't know. When did he leave?
He left.
I think that happened after Monday, didn't it?
After Monday, yeah. Week? Like we talked about what his contract would be.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't talk about this.
No.
Oh well, yeah. I'm over it. Obviously, now you can hear.
Dave, take us back to the very moment you found out. Can you go back to that place?
I mean, the moment I found out was when the Saints signed Latavius Murray.
That you knew the second that happened.
Yeah, obviously everybody knew that, and especially after there was talk about him, Baltimore being interested in him. So, yeah, but we discussed it on the podcast before. I think we discussed numbers and we said 6 million, 7 million, definitely not worth it to pay him. I think we've all said 5 million, certainly we would keep him. And that's what he wound up getting. So I guess as far as the Saints are concerned, their number was even lower than we were willing to go, which is
4.5.
Yeah, which was, that stinks. I don't know. I think another 500,000 or even $1 million a year. Again, just because of the locker room presence, and I mean, he's a complete back. He blocks. He's great out of the backfield catching. I don't know.
I think it was a breakdown in communication. I mean, I think if Ingram knew that it was gonna play out this way, he would have taken the Saints offer. And if the Saints knew that it was gonna play out this way, they would have given him $5 million a year. I think it was one of those things where the Saints were like, hey, someone else wants Latavius Murray. So if you're not going to take our deal, like we got to jump on this guy and we're offering you $4.5 million a year. And Ingram's like, no, I want 7. I want 7 a year. And they parted ways because of that. And then basically once Ingram lost all his interested parties, then all that was left was the Ravens. And then the Ravens were offering 5. So that's what he had to take. And I think his agent overplayed his hand, and it's just really too bad. I mean, I think sometimes that's how it goes in free agency. You're trying to get your client the most money, and there's a little gamesmanship by Ingram's camp there to try to up his offer a little bit. But I think Ingram thought he would get more money than he did.
That makes me.
You don't think that if his agent had an offer from Baltimore, we're taking at the very end, you wouldn't think he wouldn't go back and say we're taking $5 million with Baltimore. Anything final you want to say?
I mean, I just think that he was playing multiple teams off of each other, and so I think he had 4.5. Ingram had 4.5 from the Saints and 5 from Baltimore.
I fixed the live stream. News? We have breaking news. I fixed the live stream.
With 5 minutes left in the show?
Yeah. Totally on brand.
That's awesome. I wonder, is anyone going to actually listen to it now?
We have 2 people. Thanks for
3 people watching.
Anyway,
I like that picture of Unger.
So the Mark Ingram thing sucks. I don't know if you guys discussed Jared Cook. I'm getting nervous. Saints have nobody to catch the goddamn ball.
I mean, sign the guy already. My God.
Come on.
He's shopping. Dude, I read on some non-reputable.
You saved all that money on not signing Mark Ingram. Now you don't have to pay Max Unger. blow it all. Blow it all on a freaking pass catcher. Please, for the love of God.
I
Get
read
Ram back here,
on a
please.
I read on a totally non-reputable Twitter account that Jared
Zeppler?
Cook is shopping the Saints offer, hoping to get a better one. And what the Saints need to do is go to him and say,
I gotta barbecue your ass in molasses!
if you don't sign that shit by noon tomorrow, don't shop that shit around. Either sign or be done.
I read.
Great. Now we're getting feedback from the live feed. Awesome. It's on brand also.
Yeah, on brand. I'd say this is probably our most on brand podcast since like the week.
If this is the first time you're ever listening to our podcast, you have gotten all of it right in one episode. This entirely encapsulates everything this podcast is about.
The best part is we are 1/7 of the way in people supporting the podcast and subscribers to me being able to quit my real job and do this full time. We only need $6,000 more a month, and I can be your podcaster dollar store version of Nick Underhill. People, all you need to do is keep donating and get us up to $7,000 a month so I can live my decadent, abusive lifestyle and do this full time from my kitchen table and my boxers. It's not too much to ask. Come on. It's just $7 a month. But is that fair? Like, should the Saints crack down on Cook? Andrew would be like, dude, sign this or get off the pot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of surprised we're not hearing more news that he's visiting other teams, because he visited with the Saints, and I would think that the number one tight end on the market would either, I don't know, maybe the Saints felt like they were lowballing him.
He's not. Like, they had a bunch of other tight ends
top two.
But he's not. Like, I disagree with you. Like, he might be the best pass catcher and he might be attractive to us, but dude, other teams, they had tight ends. Other teams went in other directions and gave $6-7 million a year to tight ends. Like, his market just isn't there. Like, we can say he's the best tight end in the market, but like, teams don't really feel that way. Are they all like? Why do you think that is, Andrew? I mean, like, I agree with you. I was like, he's the number one guy in the market. He's going to get 2-3 years maybe and get like $7 million a year. And clearly, he ain't fucking getting that. Like,
it's weird. I'm surprised. I mean, he's 32 years old, but I'm very surprised that he hasn't signed with someone.
Dave, your thoughts on why he hasn't signed?
I have no fucking idea. I'm annoyed. That's
I know why Ansa hasn't signed, because teams look at him and are like, dude, your shoulder is as crippled as Ralph's left arm, and we ain't paying you dick. And he's just going to wait it out until August, I think, when the team gets desperate. But Cooks, like, I mean, if a
Pelicans
team
just took the lead with 5 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
Who did?
What are they doing? No, stop. Lose.
Can I say, we're not a basketball podcast, but the Pelicans game against the Suns on Saturday, that was the fucking Mona Lisa of tanking. They were up 3 with like 5 seconds left. They don't foul the guy. He hits the 3. There's a second left, and the Pelicans call a timeout. They don't have. The dude for the Suns shoots 2 free throws. Phoenix gets the ball inbounds. Pelicans lose. That was the fucking Sistine Chapel of tanking. It was art, and all the NBA people were mad at the Pelicans, the beat writers. I was like, this is fantastic. I want the Pelicans to entertain me and then lose, and it was magnificent.
Yeah, well, there's 5 seconds left and they're up 1, so they just need to foul the Mavericks here.
I mean, I haven't been as excited about watching one of my teams lose since the Saints in 2005 lost to Detroit and San Antonio on Christmas Eve when they were up, I think, 2, and Joey Harrington completed a 4th and 17. And Detroit ran on the field and kicked the game-winning field goal, because by that time I want Jim Haslett fired and I want Reggie Bush, and the Saints winning accomplishes neither of those two things. So I was literally running around my parents' house post-Katrina in Lacombe celebrating, and my family was like, the Saints just lost. Why are you celebrating? I'm like, because we're in fucking tank mode, baby.
Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush.
Seriously. So, Andrew, now that the live stream is working, we have probably 3, possibly 4 people listening. Do we have questions?
That many, huh? We have no questions.
I apologize.
Did you not put out a Twitter question because you were expecting questions from the live stream?
I was.
Yeah, but if you're listening and you're on the YouTube, I'm supposed to read from the YouTube comments, right?
Yep.
Yeah, there's a chat all the way on the right if you're on YouTube, and you can type your question and I'll read it.
Yeah, I just I think I know what I did. I logged in from my work computer, and by logging in, I changed the site key, which is something you need for the live stream. I changed it, and I didn't realize that I changed it, and I needed to update it tonight, and I did not, and hence it did not work, and the live stream didn't work. But that's what you come to. I mean, that's my technical savvy. You people should have known that this was going to be a disaster the first time out. Like, you're lucky you got 25 minutes of live stream with me. I mean, Andrew, you gotta be impressed. You probably thought that we were going to get no live stream, and we got 20 minutes, so people should be pleased. So, free agency so far, Dave, how you feeling?
You know, I'm not that impressed, but only because, you know, there's no real big exciting splash signings. But that's kind of been the MO for the Saints the last few years. Mickey has been very conservative, very patient. I think the last few years they've tried to do more like what the Patriots do. You know, you don't overvalue too many people. So, I mean, there's certainly nothing sexy about this free agency. If they sign Jared Cook, things get a lot sexier. And obviously we've lost Ingram, we've lost Unger. So it's kind of bittersweet, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they got Teddy Bridgewater locked in. Finally, that was a little dicey. And by the way,
yeah, I think that's the most. Go ahead, Ralph. But I think that's the most interesting thing of free agency is the fact that we are possibly.
Do we lose Dave?
No, I'm done.
No, I think you just dropped out for a second. But no, you were saying about Teddy Bridgewater is the biggest thing in free agency. What I was going to say is I love that the Dolphin fans were as nervous about the Dolphins signing Teddy Bridgewater as Saints fans were about him leaving. Like, both fan bases wanted him to stay in New Orleans. Like, Miami, their fan base is so committed to tanking, they've come up with the slogan, Fish Tank 2019, which is fucking amazing, I think. And they signed Fitzpatrick, which made them very happy. But, Andrew, I think the Saints get an A because they signed Teddy Bridgewater. It goes to an A+ if they can get Cook and Ansah.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think right now, I mean, listen, there's all of free agency left, and there's still the draft. So there's going to be opportunities to make this team better. But
the draft, I mean.
Well, yeah. But, I mean, you look at who they've lost. They've lost Unger, Watson, and Ingram. I mean, those are – and it's not – Watson wasn't great, but you talk about the leadership in the locker room. You talk about what Unger meant to this team. You talk about what Ingram meant to this team. and you're replacing that with Latavius Murray, Nick Easton, and currently we don't know, maybe Jared Cook. Man, that's not that exciting to me. I mean, if anything, I feel like maybe the offense has taken a little bit of a step back.
You hate Latavius Murray. Tell the people what you text me. You hate him. You don't even admit it to me, but you kind of do. You kind of hate him.
I don't hate him. I don't. Yeah. I don't like his
maybe
running
I hate
style.
him a little bit.
I don't like his running style. He's very tall. He's 6'3", and if you watch his highlights, like he just runs very vertical. So I just think he's not a very good short yardage back. And I just think like the Saints kind of need the Ingram guy to be able to pound it on 3rd and 1. And I just think he runs too erect.
Erect. I like that. Here's a question that I asked you via text, Andrew, and I'll ask it again, but I want Dave to answer it. Dave, if I told you you could have Jared Cook on the Saints and he would catch 65 passes for 700 yards and 5 touchdowns, or you can have Ziggy Ansah and 14 sacks, who do you choose?
Man, that's tough, but I think I've got to go with. By the way, I guess the Pelicans gave up that lead, and now it's overtime.
Full Pelican.
That's very on brand for the Pelicans.
Wait, they actually did foul, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, that's great tanking.
The guy tripped over him. He fell to the ground.
That is fantastic tanking.
So I think I'd have to take Cook because I feel like the need for a pass, the offense. I think that would be a much bigger help for the offense than Ansah would be in that situation to the defense. I mean the Saints have guys already on the team that could potentially.
14 sacks is 14 sacks.
I mean, well, look, Cam Jordan can get there. Marcus Davenport coming in his second year. He's supposed to be around those numbers in year 2, I think.
I mean, listen to Dave turning his nose at 14 sacks.
It is. I mean, they got fucking 40 catches
you
out of
sit
Dave
in your
Thomas.
tower, Dave.
So anyway, I think it's possible that they have people on the team who could do that, but I don't think they have very many options at pass catcher who could potentially put up those numbers. And they're not even great numbers from Jared Cook. I thought you were going to say like 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns or something like that, because that would be more comparable to a 14 sack season in my opinion.
Well, no, because I think if they're both awesome, I want the tight end just because I think the Saints need it more. But like 14 sacks, if the Saints defense is healthy, I feel like it would transform them into a top 3 defense. And if they're a top 3 defense and Drew Brees has like a Peyton Manning type decline, they could carry the Saints' ass to the Super Bowl if they're top 3 defense, right? So I would take the 14 sacks.
Just for the record, Jason Klein on the chat agrees with me. He says, I'll take the sacks. So, Jason, I'm glad that you do not turn your nose up at 14 sacks, unlike
you two,
one of my co-hosts.
Yeah, you two love boys really love big sacks.
Jason might qualify for
like your tight ends.
Jason might qualify for super fan status, being that he stuck through all the night, the disaster that was the live stream.
He probably just got home from work in the middle of the show and just turned it on, right?
So here's something I want to tell everyone is Dave graciously designed a fantastic beer koozie.
I did not. I just took the artwork that we have and submitted it to the beer koozie company.
Well, it's more than
sounds like a design to me.
It looked like a design to me. You changed it from white to gold, though, right?
Oh yeah, I am a talent. I am a graphical design talent. Let me tell you.
So anyway, Dave.
I use paint.
Dave, we've ordered the beer koozies, and here's the thing: Patreon, despite my incompetence with the live stream tonight, is a better product than Podbean. We love Podbean, and you can stay on Podbean if you want to stay on Podbean. But if you switch over from Podbean to Patreon, and oh, by the way, if you switch over, you won't get charged twice. Patreon doesn't bill you until the first of every month. Anyone that is on Patreon on May 1st will get a beer koozie as a thank you for supporting us and being on Patreon. So just, if you're on Patreon already, we love you. You're awesome. You're getting a beer koozie. If you're on Podbean, consider switching. And if you switch, we'll give you a beer koozie. We're not going to do away with Podbean. If you love Podbean, if you like it, and you want to stay, that's cool too. But if you switch over from Podbean to Patreon, you get a beer koozie. Think it over.
Hey, Ralph, Jason also said to check the Patreon comments. He said we mentioned it, but it wouldn't let us in and just brought us to the page. I don't know what that means exactly, but check the Patreon comments.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the link that I sent out was just to the page, to the main page. You got to scroll down and click on the post. But yeah, me and Andrew will do another live stream test or the B run or whatever this week. But we got it running. You know, what do you want me to do? I'm crippled and can barely turn on my computer. I'd be honest.
Michael Size Love just posted, I think most of us just got here.
Size Love.
I feel like we got to give him 10 more minutes just because people are finally showing up.
Yeah. So yeah, like people that are just showing up, fire questions. I mean, here's the thing about free agency that has been bananas is last year, Dave, the safety market, the Saints were the only team that paid anybody. Like, right, they paid Kurt Coleman,
Mario.
No, they paid Kurt Coleman before free agency started, but no other safety got any money at all. And this year, teams are like, to the safeties, take all our fucking money. Like, they paid Landon Collins, they paid Earl Thomas, they paid Vaccaro, they had about safeties that are all making at least $7 million a year. You know, is that a move, Dave, that surprised you? And has the NFC South teams done anything that has you mildly concerned?
The safety thing, I think that's just coincidental. I mean, I just think you have certain years where, maybe there's a certain positions where there's just a lot of talent available in any given free agency periods. I don't think there's really. I don't know whether there's some sort of like wholesale scheme change defensively across the entire league that is driving this overpaying of safeties. And then as far as other teams, I haven't been paying too close attention. I saw that Deshaun Jackson is no longer in the NFC South. He was going back to Philly, so that's good news, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know. Just based on that alone, I would say things are looking pretty good for us.
We don't have to watch Ken Crawley cover him ever again, hopefully.
I mean, is the most angry person in the world right now PJ Williams? I mean, BW Webb got $13.5 fucking million from Cincinnati. And PJ Williams is still unsigned. I mean, I know we got a Dewey, but does a Dewey preclude him from ever getting paid this year? Either of you?
Yeah, it's weird. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting to see what happens with him.
I mean, I just find it interesting. Atlanta hasn't done anything. Why do you think? Here's an interesting question.
I kind of think so. Did we lose Dave?
I think we might have.
No, I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, here's my question about Atlanta. As Andrew, do we have any more questions from the YouTubers?
But Ralph sounds like crap.
Yeah.
Do I sound like
your audio got weird there?
It got weird?
Yeah, Michael Sizelove said, what's more likely? Sheldon comes back and gets 6 sacks in 10 games, or the tight end position gets 7 touchdowns.
Ralph like a 30-second. You better just end this podcast.
I'm on a 30-second delay.
All right. Well, I'm hoping that this is still recording on YouTube. Hopefully, you guys can hear us. But Dave, why don't you answer this while Ralph shits his pants?
What was the question again? No, you might as well make that 45 seconds.
Yeah, maybe a minute. Maybe 6 minutes. By the time you hear this, the show will be over.
I'm not going to answer Michael Sizelove's question. I'm just going to keep having fun with this delay. Let's talk about the name Sizelove. Is that his real name?
I mean, that's what his name is in the chat.
Oh, that's an awesome name.
So, no, he wants to know if Sheldon Rankins comes back and gets 6 sacks in 10 games, or does the tight end position get 7 touchdowns?
What's more likely? Both of those are very, very unlikely.
Yeah, I think I'm going with the tight end.
It's just funny to know that he did that like 45 seconds ago. It's like sunlight, when it leaves, the light that we're seeing here on Earth is really like 7 million years old. Honestly, I would be very happy if Sheldon Rankins comes back in time to play 10 games out of the 16 games this season. I'm not even sure that's going to happen, and I certainly don't think if he does that he'd be that. I don't know whether he'd be that good right off the bat. So, if they sign Jared Cook, then I would say the tight end thing is definitely a real possibility. But if not. I don't know. I don't really see that happening either, but I guess that would be more likely. Ralph, if you can still hear us, send out a sign, Ralph. Send out a sign. We'll wait.
My wife.
Yeah, maybe the Anzalone, the Super Mario theme. Maybe we'll hear that in like 10 minutes.
We should have just ended this podcast. This podcast.
Oh, what a disaster. All right, well, I guess. All right, well, that's our cue to wrap this up.
Well,
thank you.
Ralph, do your outro. Start the outro music.
Yeah, start the outro. We'll hear it in like 10 minutes.
All right.
He finally caught up.
Well,
The bar is closed. Can you hear me?
We can't hear him. You can only play the sound effect. Well, so let's do the outro. So, he's back.
All right, just wrap it up. This is a fucking disaster. We'll see you next week. The bar is burning to the ground.
So what the hell just happened?
Hello, can you hear me?
I heard him say all right, and then he just left.
I hope this is recording.